Hey everyone, this is Michael with the general reading for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the month of May 2019. I do hope that this video finds you all well. I'm very excited to start your reading. It's just been amazing watching this channel grow and hearing your beautiful comments and stories. So thank you so much for reaching out. It means a lot to me. It helps this channel thrive and grow, and it helps me keep putting these messages out there. So thank you again. I am interested to see how this reading is going to go for you specifically because we have Lilith moving into the sign of Pisces in the first part of May. It's May 3rd, I believe. And why this is so interesting to me is because Lilith has been in your opposite sign, Aquarius. And I think that's been causing a lot of issues for you relationship-wise. You might be attracted to the wrong people. You might be finding a lot of old or outdated patterns that you thought you overcame in your relationships. They might have been coming up a lot. And that began for you in August of last year. So it's kind of been there for a while. And I know that in your last few readings, Leo, there has been a lot of relationship things that have been coming up, a lot of relationship troubles. So I really want to see where this is going to go for you. As for the other astrological components, we are obviously moving in through Taurus season. We're going to be moving into Gemini by the end of the month. And there is a lot of very, this energy is going to kind of be nice and solid for a while, and nice, stable, especially towards the middle of the month when we have, I want to say Venus and Venus and Mercury entering into Taurus. Mars will be entering Cancer as well towards the end of the month. So potentially some passion or issues coming from the home front for you. That is also in your 12th house, so there could be a lot of spirituality that is coming forward, a lot of spiritual drive. You may be very interested in meditation or other spiritual practices. You might be getting a lot of energy from that. So that's something to keep in mind. But yes, with this Lilith placement, with Lilith moving into Pisces, I think it's really going to relieve a lot of the pressure for you in terms of your relationships. And I gotta say, when I was clearing the deck and trying to figure out what sign to do next, I got your card, Strength, in reverse. And I also got the Page of Cups in reverse. They came out together. This tells me that there has been a lot of emotional immaturity. It could be you. It could also be someone else that you're dealing with, especially if you're dealing with someone, as I said, in a partnership, not even necessarily a relationship. It could be a business partnership, a really close friend, anyone who's very involved in your life. With this Page of Cups in reverse, you could also be dealing with a water sign, so that could be a Cancer, Scorpio, or a Pisces. This person is kind of showing up a bit immature, kind of a bit insensitive to you, or just very self-absorbed, caught up in their own emotions, and I think it's causing a bit of conflict here. It's definitely testing your patience with this card being in reverse, and I almost feel like you've had it. And that was actually kind of the energy for last month's read as well. A lot of you were just kind of getting into this breaking point. So I'm not surprised to see that this is coming up now. I'm going to actually take a peek at the energy in the read in just a moment, but I did want to share these messages with you, and it did remind me a lot of the Lilith placement, so that's why I brought all of this up. We do... what else is going on for the month of May? We do have a lot of the outer planets going retrograde. That's already happened by the time May has begun. It is the 29th right now, so tomorrow we actually have Saturn going retrograde in Capricorn. There's going to be a lot of focus on our future, building ourselves, the way we attain power and status, and this is not... I think it's actually going to be a pretty nice reprieve for a lot of you. It seems to feel like a pressure release in general for the collective. So I do hope that that's going to happen for you as well, Leo. I do know we also had Pluto and Jupiter go retrograde as well. Jupiter is retrograde in your fellow fire sign, Sagittarius, so that is trining with you right now. So again, there is this really big opportunity for you to open up to your spirituality, especially with Lilith going to Pisces. It may also be a good time to start doing shadow work, or going to a psychologist or a counselor to work with subconscious patterns to see ways you are sabotaging yourselves without even realizing it. So it's a very interesting time. Pisces or Lilith and Pisces could also make us prone to daydream, to get a little lost in fantasy, to get a little lost in delusion, and that's also something I think that the Page of Cups could potentially be warning against as well, especially in reverse here. So just be mindful of where your emotions are taking you. Try not to get too swept up. Especially when we're still just in the very beginning of May. I think things, again, are really going to be clearing up for you. They seem to be clearing up for a lot of the signs this month. I really do feel like the collective in general is doing pretty well, but we are, of course, going to go into your actual read. I don't believe there are any more updates right now. That's not true. We actually are going to start doing love readings. You can expect those in the middle of the month. I'm going to be doing those each month, probably around the 15th, so keep your eyes peeled for those. I did do a poll asking people what kind of readings they would like, and love readings, it was more than half, or about 50%. So that was definitely the overwhelming consensus. So definitely keep your eye open for those. Whether you're single or in a relationship, I think it'll be really helpful, especially for my Leos out there. But yeah, I think that is it. If you are interested in kind of a more thorough thorough impression of what the stars are doing this month, I actually have a link to my blog down below in the description box, which has my notes for this month, so you can kind of take a peek at that as well. It has like all the dates when everything is moving and what's going to be happening, what major aspects and minor aspects, some of them. So again, it's not completely exhaustive, but it's a pretty good resource if you're learning about astrology, which I think some of you may actually be this month. So yeah, I think without further ado, we are just going to begin your reading. I'm just going to set an intention here really quickly, and we will begin shuffling. Alright, I was told to shuffle 4 times. What are the general messages for Leo in the month of May 2019? What is the guidance for Leo in the month of May 2019? What are the general messages for Leo in the month of May 2019? What are the messages for Leo in the month of May 2019? Alright, so we have this 8 of Swords in reverse. Some of you have been getting out of a sticky situation, things that have been holding you back. Very nice, especially if this is pertaining to work or home. We have this 3 of Cups here as well. And we have the King of Cups in reverse. So there is some water energy here with this 3 of Cups and this King of Cups in reverse. It does seem like it's been a pretty emotional time, but a time of releasing yourself here. As I said, this is cutting yourself free from obligations or from commitments that were just not serving you. I do feel like a lot of you were moving on from something that you kind of felt trapped in, or you didn't feel totally free. You might not have been seeing things clearly. But now that you have moved on, I do feel like you're going to be starting off May in a pretty good position, actually. With this 3 of Cups, you're definitely celebrating something. This is really beautiful, a lot of harmony, a lot of joy that you're having coming into May. So this is more towards the end of April. I feel like a lot of you have just been reconnecting with friends and surrounding yourself with people who make you feel good, which is wonderful. I feel like you might have been freeing up your time and having more time to yourself and time to spend with other people. So that's really, really nice to see. With this King of Cups in reverse, this is kind of in the mental or communicative part of the past. Some of you may have very well cut out a water sign, so that kind of came up in the pre-shuffle as well. So this could be a Cancer, a Scorpio, or a Pisces. I do also feel like this is, oh, it is also a late Leo energy, so it could potentially be, or I'm sorry, this is a King of Cups. What sign is that? That is, no, what is that? Sorry, I don't even know. It'll come to me in just a moment. Anyway, regardless of the astrological placement for this person, this is someone who might have been a bit self-absorbed, again, very swept up in their own emotions, not sensitive to the needs of others. This could be you, or it could be someone else that you're communicating with. It seems like there might have been a lot of tension, there might have been a lot of just really, communication might have been a bit closed down. It might have been almost like overflowing. Like someone is just totally taking over the conversation, making it all about them. That's kind of this King of Cups energy in reverse. Someone who's very self-absorbed. And you may have potentially cut off contact with this person, especially with this Eight of Swords here. If this is someone you were dealing with in your day-to-day life, either at work or at home, it does seem like you have freed yourself from that somehow. You got out of it. So I'm very interested to see what the animal wisdom is here for the past energy for Leo. Yeah, so we have this wolf card, and this actually makes a lot of sense for me, because I was saying with this Three of Cups, you were surrounding yourself with people who, you know, just made you feel good, and the wolf is all about the pack. It's about getting back in that tribe, the people who make you feel at home. This doesn't necessarily need to be your biological family. In fact, a lot of the time I find it's not. It's more finding your soul family, your soul tribe. And I feel like that's kind of been a theme for you, getting back in touch with groups, getting back in touch with old circles of friends. I think it's been very helpful for you. I am also noticing at the bottom of the deck there is this butterfly card, so some of you may have actually been going through a transition with a relationship or still going through that, and your friends have been helping you as a result. So that seems, it seems pretty, whatever this King of Cups in reverse is, I still feel like overall you were able to find your people, you were able to not be totally isolated in April. And I feel like you're coming into May with a good sense of community, a good sense of knowing who your friends are. So that's really nice. Let's see what we have for the start of May here. Okay, so we have a couple of reverse cards here. We have the Star in reverse, the Knight of Swords in reverse, and we have the Nine of Wands. So it seems like a lot of you, with this Star card in reverse, there might have been, I'm almost getting this feeling that things have been kind of uncertain for a while. You've been kind of just going along in your life, trying to find your path, find your purpose. It does seem like you are going to be in a period of doubt at the beginning of May. You're not going to be really sure where to go. It might feel like your wish isn't coming true, although what I'm kind of getting more from this sense of a card, rather than a wish just not happening, it's just being delayed. I feel like you just feel like something's not going to happen or something's taking too long, and it's kind of just feeling, you're feeling very worn out here with this Nine of Wands in the mental position. It's feeling like you're very beat up and very tired, very worn out. But with this Knight of Swords in reverse as well, this could also be, these two cards are definitely something that could be indicating Aquarius. So some of you may be dealing with an Aquarian, one who's not acting very emotionally mature, someone who's kind of just charging in and doing what they want. There's not a good sense of planning. I feel like this is also your energy as well, Leo. Not really sure where you're going, there's kind of just a lot of, I don't want to say spontaneity. It's less positive than that. It's almost like, it's kind of like a three-ring circus, honestly. Things feel a bit scattered, and it feels like you're lacking a bit of direction. I do see that there's a need for healing as well, so some energy healing might be useful. I am a Reiki practitioner, just saying, if some of you are interested in the distance Reiki session. Um, but energy healing is very useful for this card, or some sort of holistic healing in general. So if you know someone or you do your own practice, I would definitely do that at the start of May. I think it would be very, very helpful for you. Also, crystal healing might be very beneficial as well. I do feel like there might be some recovering from an argument here with this Nine of Wands. I think whatever it was, you're kind of out of the worst of it, especially if you've been having kind of this long-standing conflict with someone or disagreement. It does seem like you're kind of going through the final test. You have overcome everything so far, and it does feel like you will triumph overall. But your victory here was not easily gained. It was definitely something that wore you down. And perhaps this is why you also need some healing as well. Some of you, yeah, it's just feeling like you need healing still. And I think that was actually coming up for you as well. It seems like this is just a healing time of year for my Leos. I'm curious now to see what the animal wisdom has to say about the first half of May. 2 cards, great. Interesting. I actually think these 2 cards fell out for another sign. We have the mouse card and the lizard card that came out together. So this is interesting because mouse is something that's a bit nitpicky. This energy, it can be a bit controlling. It could potentially be this Knight of Swords, this air sign that you're dealing with, especially if there's an Aquarius. I do also feel like this could just be you trying to make sense of everything, trying to control things that you really don't have control over in the first half of May. And what the mouse card kind of signifies when it emerges, it's time to actually put this mental energy, this almost fearful energy, to use. Mouse is always looking out for threats. It's always darting around and trying to sneak its way through the world. But it's a very attentive energy. So this can be very beneficial if you're working on a project. So if you don't have a project that you're working on or something that you can commit yourself to, start doing creative work. Start drawing or painting or writing. Do something that can really help you take your mind off of whatever it is you're focused on or whatever it is you're trying to control or understand, because I don't think it's really helping you right now. Lizard does kind of speak of getting into this observer awareness, this need to see things from a more neutral perspective. Lizard is cold-blooded, so they might not seem very warm or emotional, but this is kind of a card that shows up when there's this need to pull back, to hide as well. That's kind of coming up with Mouse. So there is kind of this retreat, I think, that is going to be happening at the beginning of May. Interestingly enough, Lizard also does speak of art and artistry, a very sensitive energy as well. It's using the solar forces to recharge or give yourself energy. So this card just speaks of energy conservation in general and being very wise with how you're using your energy in the first part of May. I do feel like for some of you it would be very beneficial to get outside, to get outdoors, and to ground yourself, get barefoot, walk on the grass. That would just be very, very nice to bring this energy into balance, because Lizard is a very, very powerful force, especially mentally. It can even indicate telepathy or psychic abilities as well. It is quite a magical animal, often associated with witches. So it does have quite a bit of magic inside of it, and I think you can find that if you do pull away. And it does seem like with the Star card in reverse, there is, again, just this need to pull away, this need to recuperate. And, you know, again, energy healing. I'm telling you, some of you really do need it or would benefit from it. And there's free videos online. You can just Google Reiki music, and there is music that is charged with Reiki, and that can be helpful as well. So I'm curious to see what we have now in the last part of May, kind of the outcome of what all of this action here. And this could potentially also be out into June. I always stress in these videos that time is pretty fluid, especially when you're dealing with these general collectives. I think people kind of look to me as a reader to tell them when something is going to happen to them, and the reality is that it very much depends on your own vibration. Are you doing the things that you need to do? Are you following my advice? Are you taking the time to heal? Because that's when these outcomes are going to happen for you. That's when these things are going to become clearer. It's all about your own agency here too. It's not just me telling you what's going to happen. Um, anyway, sorry for that little rant there. We have the Nine of Swords, the King of Swords, and we have the Ace of Cups in reverse. So, I'm honestly not too excited about this energy, but I do want to be honest with you. I'm not going to give you false information. I don't want to just, tell you everything's going to be great and not give you a heads up when I see that there may be some difficulty. Some of you may have trouble sleeping or resting with this Nine of Swords. This can kind of be... It's not the worst card. It's kind of like waking up from a nightmare is the interpretation I get from this. It's coming out of a very difficult time. It might be keeping you up at night. There's again this need for rest. It keeps coming up for you, Leo. And to really bring that into balance, I would definitely calm your nervous system. Keep yourself as calm as possible. Meditation is also very important too. You may be having nightmares or bad dreams towards the end of the month. I do feel like I just have to say this. I'm not excited to say this, but it seems like some of you may have had the sense of something bad happening at the beginning of May, and it actually seems like it might be coming true. It's almost like a prophetic dreams, because this is in the physical position. It's almost like your worst dreams coming true. So that's just something to be mindful of. Definitely be aware of it. I'm not telling you this all, or I'm not telling this to you to be all doom and gloom, but it's just important to be aware of these energies, because it does seem like you are going to need your rest. You are going to need your energy. You are still coming up quite strong, however, as this King of Swords. This is kind of someone who is able to keep their mind clear and keep their heart in check. They don't let their emotions cloud their judgment. You could be potentially dealing with an air sign at the end of the month as well, someone who's very near and dear to your heart. This could be a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. Aquarius was definitely coming up a bit in the beginning, and it does seem like there might even be a turnaround there. They're definitely coming in very strong. However, I do have to warn you that with this Ace of Cups in reverse, there is potentially this denial of intimacy or emotionality. If you are talking to someone about, or if you're trying to ask someone out, there might be a rejection, or vice versa. Someone might be asking you out and you just reject them. It seems like whatever it is, with you showing up as this King of Swords, I'm almost getting the impression that you're just turning down whatever this mess was in the past, whatever emotional messiness you were dealing with. I almost feel like you're kind of lifting your sword up here a little bit and you're saying, enough. I don't want to deal with this anymore. This definitely feels more like your energy. I don't necessarily feel like you're going to be turned down. It just feels like you're not going to be coming across as super emotional towards the end of the month. You're going to be a bit guarded. And that might actually not be a bad idea, because it does seem like your energy is very precious in the month of May, and you need to be very wise with what you're doing with it. I do want to see what the animal advice is here. They can be pretty illuminating. Interesting. We got 2 cards. Okay, so we do have the snake card, and we have the bat. Some of you, I hate to say this, I do feel like there is going to be an end of a relationship for some of you. Because snake, it's about shedding, letting go of old skin. And with bat, this is also kind of a time of darkness. It's signaling an end. It's almost like the death card in the traditional tarot. And it does feel like it still feels like it's you who's kind of bringing whatever this dysfunction is to an end. It doesn't necessarily need to be a relationship. It could even be a friendship or some other type of relationship like that, or with a family member or something. But it seems like you're closing a chapter in your life, and as a result, you are going to be kind of weeding your garden, so to speak. Your social circles you're going to kind of be thinning out um, the people you keep around you. And I think that would be very beneficial, actually. It might not feel good, it might be a bit challenging, but I actually feel like it's really going to help you, especially for June, once you clear out all of this energy, because it feels like you've been working on something for a while. You've really been fighting for communication, for this meeting of minds, and it just doesn't seem to be happening with this King of Cups in the past in reverse, and now this Ace of Cups in the future in reverse. It's like you're just not having that breakthrough that you want, and that's pretty hard. Um, and I do feel like, again, with this Bat card, this is a card that's very aware of the subtle with its echolocation. So you might be getting messages. I was saying your intuition seems to be getting pretty high, and it does feel like there is this some. It's almost like you already know what it is that's going to be over, what's going to be ending for you. So I wouldn't be taken. I don't feel like this will take you by surprise. I feel like you already know. Some of you are just kind of nodding, like, yeah, I kind of know exactly what this is. So there is that. So I don't think it's something to be too worried about. I feel like you already know if something's going to be coming to an end. Obviously, this is a general reading. It's not going to apply to all of you, and you are capable of shifting your vibration by virtue of what you're focusing on, by working with the law of attraction, by healing your energy body and healing your mind. You can potentially either avoid these falling apart, like this falling, breaking down, or you can move through it much more gracefully. Because the reality is I don't feel like you're losing anything that's going to devastate you. And I actually feel like it's you who's going to be ending things, Leo. You're you really are coming across very strong with this King of Swords. I feel like it's you just cutting the bullshit, which is great. I don't think that's necessarily gonna feel great, but it's gonna feel. I think it's gonna feel very clear to you that this is what you need to do, and you're gonna be making a head over heart decision. So even though there's some sort of emotional connection, there's definitely some hurt feelings here. It does feel like ultimately your mind and your heart are going to kind of be syncing up. Whatever decision you've been struggling with at the beginning of May, you're going to have a lot more determination with it towards the end or second half of May. I do hope that this reading was helpful for you. Definitely check out the love reading as well. I'm curious to see if any of this is coming up. Maybe by the middle of the month, we're already going to be moved on into some new energy. I do hope so. So keep your eyes out for that. If you are interested in booking a personal reading or donating, I have all of that information down below. You can also check out my other social media where I post random pick-a-cards and single cards for the collective. I have that on my Instagram, again, also in the description box. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Bye, Leo.